Welcome back, everyone, to Red Spotlight. I'm Alexis, and I'm joined by David Francisco, of course, for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reaction and commentary watch-along series. We have been gone for a while for a long list of reasons. There was a short period of time when we were endangered by a fire, so there was that. This is how much has happened. There's also a moving that happened. Both of us happened to get sick multiple times, mind you, and not for the same reason. And there's just generally so much going on. So literally, it was outside of our control that we had literally not been able to come back on here for weeks on end. It felt like a never-ending nightmare, honestly, and it even kind of surprised me that we're even recording right now. You know, specifically for David, he's had a particular long journey in all of that, and having to set everything up all over again, as you can see for yourself.
Yes.
A completely different setup as he is in now, the third habitation he has been in this Shield reaction rewatch series. So it's interesting how many occasions we've seen David in. Maybe this is the last one for a bit.
For a while.
Who knows? Maybe. I'm hoping. But yeah, David, how are you? I haven't
good.
seen you since you've injured yourself either that way too.
A minor injury. I have a messed up back. I messed it up years ago weightlifting, and literally the smallest thing. So I'll say, okay. So I'm a delivery driver. I carry lots of big packages. You know, haven't hurt my back doing on the job or anything like that. And then the last time I hurt my back, all I did was like reach out to my bed and grab my pajamas, and my back started hurting. And then this time, all I did was cough because I was sick. And, you know, mind you, I was coughing for days. But then all of a sudden, you know, I'm in my car. I take my head out a bit to cough. And then boom, I feel something pop right there. And I gotta like hold on to the car just to lift myself up, just to keep standing. It varies, the pain varies, but yeah, it can really screw me up. So
all because of a damn cough. And by the way, like I think you and I got sick around the same time. So it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm still coughing a little bit.
Same.
I'm still coughing up shit.
Same.
I think you and I got the exact same thing.
Dude.
And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I know for sure I got sick because for one thing, it does get cold around here for me. And so I don't do that good of a job to cover myself up. So that could have been one thing. The other one could have been one of my managers, different job. I work 2 jobs, from a different job, was sick. And, you know, he did his best to like keep away from the rest of us and all that. And he wasn't coughing at all. But
you can do your best, but you never really can know for sure.
So I don't know.
See, I wasn't sure if I got you sick or if you got me sick. But I know, because I was up here for a weekend, like about an hour or 2 after I last saw you, I was feeling a bit woozy. I'm like, what is going on? And then when I came home, like clockwork. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. I still got congestion for 2 weeks. I've had congestion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there've been days where I've been fine. There've been days where it's been clogged up, coughing a lot. It's only just now barely beginning to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the weekend that I went to go see you guys because oh yeah, there was a brush fire.
Yeah.
It just like popped out like nearby where you lived.
No, yeah.
And of course,
we should mention too, Silva was kind of like, oh, hope you guys are okay. I know you guys said you live in California. Hope you guys are okay from the fires. And we were like, yeah, we're far away from those. Fucking, I think the day we uploaded the video, the fires were going near us. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? So like for a second, I was for sure worried that, you know, I might have to evacuate because of the fires. But I mean, for one thing, I'm further away from them now. It's all good now. So yeah, we had a crazy time.
It was crazy, like insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course getting sick, which led to you getting injured, and then of course you had to move.
Yeah,
you moved.
Sick. I was sick. and we were moving. Luckily, we got all the heavy stuff in before I hurt my back. And then once I hurt my back, I just had to stay in bed. And yeah, I had to let my sister and my parents worry about everything else. Sucks, but I mean, there was nothing I can do. I was just gonna literally, I was just can barely take the tiniest steps because my back hurt so much, dude.
Wow.
It's the fucking worst when it happens, and I hate that it happens like at the most randomest time. Like I said, it was this time was from a cough. The last time because I reached out to grab my pajamas, and the time before that, literally, the time before that, I was carrying like a packet of water. I didn't injure myself doing that. You know those packets of water that they sell at Walmart and all that. I didn't injure myself there. But the day after, my aunt, she was getting ready for a party, and she had one of those like foam ice chests. I don't know if you ever seen those.
Yes, I know of that. Yeah,
empty, just like one thing in it. Weighs less than 5 pounds. But all I did was just put it in her car, and I felt it again. I'm like, oh shoot, are you freaking kidding me? And any little
random thing can trigger it.
Yeah, if like saying. If I don't pay attention to like how I am with my back, because with my job as a delivery driver, I have to pay attention with like how I'm lifting stuff and everything. So like I think it's rarely going to happen during the job, but everything else that I'm just doing normally, it could trigger it.
It can be a casual thing that is often going to be what gets you, not so much when you're primed and like actually looking out for it because you're working and you're watching out with how you carry things.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's the worst.
I don't even know how the hell you've been able to do it. Just to be strung out like that because of a bad back. Oh my gosh.
Literally, I hurt my back right as I got to my delivery driver job. Like I was literally in the warehouse and I had to call out, and it was the worst.
That's bad. Yeah, so much has happened, and yet here we are. I haven't thought about or Shield or watched Shield, and if it's felt like the longest time. Like it was still January. We're already like 11 days into a new month. Which that should give you a pretty good picture as to like how long we've been gone. Like 2 weeks on paper, but it's felt more like it's been 4 weeks, honestly, with how much has happened. That's how much it's felt like. So thank you all of you who are watching and listening, who have been very patient with us. I know it's again, this was not planned. All of these things literally happened one after the other, and there was simply also just no way to even facilitate a recording because you didn't have internet this whole last week. So it was just a whole thing where it just wasn't going to work out. So here we are, though. I believe the last time we watched Shield, it was for Love in the Time of Hydra. And I think today is actually going to be a pretty big episode. Today is One Door Closes, which was written by Lauren LaFranc and Rafe Judkins, directed by David Solomon, starring, of course, all of our regular stars: Clark Gregg, Muna Wen, Brad Dalton, Chloe Bennett, Ian DeCassiger, Elizabeth Hensters, Nick Blood, Adrian Palacki, which also features a recurring guest appearances: Henry Simmons, Alfonso McKenzie, Lucy Lawless comes back as Isabel Hartley, Kirk Acevedo as Thomas Calderon, the asshole, Christine Adams as Ann Weaver, Jamie Harris as Gordon, Mackenzie Aston as Tim McGuire, sorry. Rick Otto as lead Hydra agent, and of course Edward James Olmos as Robert Gonzalez. This was originally broadcast on March 31st, 2015 to 4.26 million viewers. Yeah. I know, it's just so weird getting into this now. It's been such a long time. Before we get into this episode, do we have any comments?
Yep. One from episode 13, One of Us, from Silva. Another great video, agents. Extra points for being open and vulnerable about your personal life and experience. That made me reflect myself, and that is always good. So thanks for that. Happy New Year again to you two. Awesome individual.
Happy New Year.
I know. That's how long it's been, y'all.
Oh my god. That was the comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Happy New Year.
Mm.
Jeez. I don't know what to say. All right then. You know what? Let's just get into the episode. How about that?
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
What is this place?
It's a safe house for people with powers. Simmons has been working around the clock on these.
So these take my powers away.
So, David, what do you remember? This is, as they do the recap, which is helpful for us because it's been this long. It's like, oh yeah, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember anything about this episode?
I remember Hunter is not off the ship. He like faked it to stay in, and he's trying to sneak around. That I remember. Everything else. Oh, I remember we do dive a little bit deep into Daisy's powers. That's about it.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, I do remember this whole flashback. I love actually this flashback.
Tim, I'm gonna need you to trust me now, buddy. It's gonna be okay.
Always with the Nazi stuff.
It's hilarious how many Hydra agents find that offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not know where you come from?
Yeah.
What's the plan? What are you even doing here?
Fury left us orders
To do what?
to save S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, just say, David, we're so back.
I know, right?
And we're so back, and we're already just
Yeah.
sucked back into it.
Mm-hmm. And I do. Like I said, I love this flashback because like it easily establishes why they're so committed to the whole new the real S.H.I.E.L.D. thing and to each other, and I love it.
Yes.
Sir, I gotta say, this is quite an honor. I know how much
Like
you love-
Speaking of this, yeah. go ahead.
Like in those few minutes, they kind of showed like just how big of a journey they took together. That's like as big as our original cast.
Yeah. Pretty cool also to see other events happening at the exact same time as like, the Hydra reveal is like this universe's version of Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
And to see different like points of view and perspectives. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, where were you when the world fell apart, basically?
Mm-hmm.
My own. We'll see soon enough where he stands.
Well, let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Also, Coulson letting Mac work on the car just to establish like, hey, we still trust you,
Yeah. False sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we're seeing this room.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically where the servers are at. We'll be coming back here many times over for various reasons. I think the last time we see this room is we see Ada stab and murder an LMD Simmons. That's the last time we see this room.
Well, when you're feeling up to it might be worth giving them a go. They're obviously just a prototype, but they're laced with a microthread I designed, which should accelerate your healing and dampen the vibrations. I just want you to be safe, Sky. You know that, right?
It's a nice needed moment just for Simmons to ask her friend, like, I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
this for you, right? And of course, here we
Right.
have this.
I told you, Leo, I'm only trying to help.
Whatever, Gemma.
But it's good to see her just like take to heart. We mentioned last week, of course, there were some things like she was like, oh, I think she became a little bit aware of how she's being perceived.
It was unfortunate, but that's not what I'm talking about.
And then there's
I'm
this,
sorry,
of course.
son, I'm not fine.
Yes, you are. I know Lola like the back of my hand, so it wasn't too hard to find once I went looking. Okay, then.
What a trap, man.
Mm-hmm.
What a trap.
Friends to Hydra.
So have I.
You're not in this alone, I know that much. Are you working with Hunter? Or is he just a pawn in this, too? Oh, God. Get me on the line, now.
Her weapon is so cool.
Yes, it is.
May,
It doesn't have to be like this. I didn't want this.
That was quick.
That was.
You know all of our protocols. We handed Mac the schematics of our base.
They don't know everything about this place. Not like we do.
She said she was working for S.H.I.E.L.D., Phil. The real S.H.I.E.L.D.
What the hell does that mean?
That's the question of the hour. The real shield. But also notice what was just teased there. Like when May said they don't know this place, or actually Coulson said they don't know this place, not like you and I do. It's a bit of a tease because actually there'll be a payoff for that at the end of this episode.
Nice.
When there's a little piece of the schematic that Mac didn't know was there all along.
Also, a lot of things going on. I love the fight between May and
Bobby.
Yes.
Yes.
First, for one thing though, I like the little detail when she kicks the gun away from May and she goes after her, but she's like, oh wait, no, I should get the box actually. And so she goes back and forth towards it, but eventually she ended up back towards the gun. So she kind of like prioritized both things at the same time. I don't know if maybe she was planning it out during the fight, who knows, but that's a really cool detail.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the box made of vibranium. That's cool.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No, yeah, I didn't know that.
The toolbox, yeah. That's a cool detail.
Also, do wish we would have seen Fitz's reaction to Mac betraying them and all that.
Well, I think we saw a little bit of reaction there. Like, I think there wasn't a moment where I was like, wait, what's going on? But you did see their frustration, a little bit of anxiety there for sure. And we're going to get a moment right now, I think in a couple of seconds, where Fitz is just like trying to like process all this. But of course, how Fitz is doing this is like he's just trying to jump straight into it because this is not their first go round. Notice how particularly Coulson, May, Fitz, and Simmons are reacting to a situation like this. This is not their first rodeo. They've been through this before. They've been through the whole turn situation with one of their own. Ended up being a turncoat. Again, that leaves scars. And so all of them are acting very differently and I think are a bit more pouncy than they used to be, right? As opposed to last time. Even when it comes to somebody like with Mac and Bobby, who they've grown close with, you know, it's like they're not taking any chances. And I think all of them, we've already seen how Coulson and May just immediately straight to it. Like, hey, who do you work for? Okay, you're not going to tell me? That's it. We're going to arrest you. That's how it's going to be. And then we're going to see Fitz right now immediately jumping into action, going straight for the servers to just like to stop them. And then we're also going to have a moment later on with Simmons that I think was quite masterful and I think emblematic of like where she's been as a character this whole season. But also so much happening. The siege, or not the siege, but just like the hunt for them in the base, the flashbacks to the past, and then also this here with Skye in the cabin, which is also something that's just up in the air as well. So again, it's just like, I don't even know how it is that you plan this out, but there's just so many storylines happening, and there isn't enough for everybody. Like this, we're not getting much into the Inhumans this week, which is totally fine and all, because there have been other storylines that I've been like clamoring to come up with, and I think this episode really is kind of the time where it's time to really just like unveil what is this real S.H.I.E.L.D. thing here? What is it that Bobby and Mac are up to? But I think it's also just exciting to see how far our characters have come. Like, and I think it's really important to see, particularly how Coulson, May, Fitz, and Simmons are reacting to this. And then, of course, what comes of that. So I do like how they show that progression, that our team wasn't entirely caught by surprise, you know? And even if they were, they jumped straight into it and knew what to do, which is progression from the last season. Again, that shit leaves scars. And also, I just love to see when things move forward. By the way, this right here, is effectively creepy and scary.
It's why did you make me watch Paranormal Activity?
And then they throw in that line, and then it all works. And of course, the sound effects coming from the outside, this is like, what? Yeah, this is what it would feel like if you're in a scary movie, for sure. So I think this is the episode where she then is visited by Gordon for the first time. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that would get me too.
Hello, Sky. I'm Gordon. May I come in?
By the way, I forgot that this was in this episode because the rest of the episode is like, go, 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 go. In the past and in the present. Here, I think are the only scenes in the whole in this whole storyline is actually moving very at a deliberate pace. And I enjoy it that way because this is like a really important interaction for Sky to have.
Every object in this universe gives off a vibration. Did you know that? Nothing rests. Animals, trees, people, even this ratty couch. And you have the ability to tap into those vibrations. Don't you see? You could become magnificent.
He's really cool.
Yes.
Like for the first time we see him, like he's just walking around all badass and he knows it.
Yes, yeah.
It's so great.
But something different's happening now. I think whoever did this set up a ghost interface that's overriding our system directly. If I could just find this prototype.
You know what? Maybe Fitz has it. We should go try to find him, make sure he's okay.
Oh, here we go.
Again, I think Simmons had everybody fooled. Is like, and then that happens, you're like, what? Again, character progression.
Yeah.
Character growth.
Progression. And also, you brought up that the writers did think about having her be a Hydra agent in the first season.
Yeah.
I just love that they kind of kept up that idea that like she's gonna get better at lying, basically, as the show goes on. So it's really cool.
That disc will detonate every weapon on this ship. There's no way you will make it out before you're 80 feet underwater. Why would the director do this?
Because of what's on the ship. We're carrying a cargo that we can't let Hydra get their hands on.
I need you to get away from that wall right now.
Stay back, stay back.
Fitz, you don't understand. Fitz! Fitz! Fitz!
I also like the progression of their plan, Max and Bobby's. There was no way they were ever getting it out. Like,
No.
I don't think there was any way they could have figured out to do that. So, best thing to do is just break in and try to take them. So yeah, but I still like what they had tried to do. If they could, they would try to sneak away. That didn't work. Then that's when the EMP and just, the servers and everything they had to sneak in and all that. It's great. Makes sense.
I'd like to officially withdraw my concerns about using the dendrotoxin gas. It's got style.
If only someone were taking minutes.
Where do we stand with Agent Sky?
Dendrotoxin, that's the same material that they used for the icers, just in gas form.
Taking it to the house that Banner built.
That's why I like to take a team of tactical agents and retrieve her.
Sends a pretty aggressive message, don't you think?
Just leave her there.
I know. That's actually...
Can we just she's already away. Leave her there. She's not posing a threat to anybody.
You know where she is. You'll know if she's out.
You have cameras. You have sound. Why are you gonna go fucking stage an attack?
Yeah.
This is the part of these real Shield assholes that I can't I can't overlook because they're just dumb. She's literally alone.
She has no idea what's going on.
I like to take, and of course that asshole was like, I'd like to take a team and retrieve her.
Nah.
For what?
Yeah.
Oh, this right here, David, this is one of the best scenes of the whole show. Listen to the score, and then this whole scene. This is the first time we see a couple of things from the score here. This is the first time we see the new Daisy theme in a more like tranquil, positive way instead of the whole like when we first hear it when she's transforming. It's really tragic, right? It's tragic and triumphant in a really strange way. But then also that sequence is just like this is the first time that we see her actually realize that there can be some beauty in the power that she has. This is, I think, maybe the first positive experience she's had with her power after meeting Gordon, who was perhaps the first real person to actually say to her, "There's nothing wrong with you." And he actually, well, he's not the first, but he's the first to say that with some authority because he knows a lot about what she's gone through because he has gone through it himself. So that there's more to reinforce that validity to Skye. So Skye would not have like looked at herself that way with how she was able to manipulate that water if it not for that exchange she just had with Gordon. And I thought it was a really moving sequence. Intimate without a single line of dialogue because it wasn't required in that moment. And then we have this, which is very triggering.
And we haven't even begun to talk about your protege. Skye, you two have a lot in common. At least you once did. What happened in the Alien City film? You say that you're the director. So did she drag you down there, kicking and screaming, or were you curious?
I went to Puerto Rico to destroy the alien city and stop Dr. Whitehall. And that's what we did.
In part, that's true. And that's why I want to give you a chance to be the good man I know you once were.
Very clearly, these real S.H.I.E.L.D. people just became very radicalized by what happened with the idea of like taking the bullet and going down with the ship for the sake of S.H.I.E.L.D. But S.H.I.E.L.D., if you remember, like when in season 1, what was the line of dialogue that it was the S.H.I.E.L.D. between the weird world and the much weirder world? Like there is a reason why all of these secrets are being kept. That being said, though, a lot of the times those secrets get fumbled with, like the idea, and they said it so many times that S.H.I.E.L.D's search for an unlimited energy source led to an alien invasion. I mean, that's very fair. And then this is exactly what
You see her? You're setting up a flare.
Remember, Skye's
Really?
a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent like one of us. Icers only.
Of course he wouldn't do that. He's there to kill her.
Yeah.
He's there to fucking kill her. He called her the target. It made no difference to him to call her a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent because he's not to her. She's not to him.
We already took the top deck.
Director Fury left orders, and we're gonna follow them. Hydra will not get this ship and its cargo. You have your orders, Agent Morse. This is not a democracy. I was wrong that day, and we followed Fury's orders. Hundreds of men and women who had devoted their lives to this organization would be dead. I have no desire to be the director.
You think I did? Fury chose me.
He made you. You're literally his creation.
That's also true. That's bad.
Fury's secrets didn't bring down S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra did.
I wonder if you really believe that.
I mean, yeah, that's what happened. Although,
no, I mean they got in because of these secrets between all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything. So like it's on both sides.
Yeah.
Every one of your team is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. We'll let them make their own decisions.
Already made mine.
Nay, man.
It's a really nice entrance.
Was he turned on by that? It was just like the way. Really nice. I just caught that the way he said it. I was like, here's the payoff, the elevator, the hidden elevator.
You have to go now.
Fitzsimmons.
I'll take care of them.
Hydra released an enhanced on them. found Weaver fighting to protect the ones that were left behind. She was actually going toe-to-toe with that monster.
That's not Sky.
I mean, he basically just said what he's here to do.
Mm-hmm.
Any powered person, any enhanced person is a monster to him. He's there to kill her. Like, he just said that.
Urging that sound!
Also, that wasn't nicer.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't. Right on Sky.
Mm-hmm.
No! Sky!
She dropped the gun. She dropped the gun, and he was like... Which... No sympathy for me. If anything, I should have gone through his face. But damn.
That's very cool.
I mean, she was acting in self-defense at that point.
No,
like, that wasn't...
Gordon, help.
Would you like to go home?
Of all the places to see Coulson pop up.
For one drink.
Let me guess. She got the house.
Literally.
Oh, okay. I thought he was still on the ship. Wow.
No.
Okay.
He got away a long time ago.
What's that?
You offered me a permanent position. Consider that my contract.
I mean, I get that. I love the sentiment and the gesture, but like from a legal standpoint,
no, yeah. Look through it. You know how much are you gonna get paid?
There's like no words attached to it, like at all. That's crazy. While you pull up on one, it's gonna be 1818.
Perfect.
I'll read a review while you're doing that. Here's Eric Goldman. A very strong episode. One Door Closes surprisingly seemed to upend the dynamic of the show again, while also including some cool flashbacks that filled in the origins of Other S.H.I.E.L.D. Man, the producers sure took those "the pacing is too slow" criticisms from season 1 to heart, no? I assume we get at least a few more episodes of Bobby and Mac plotting with Gonzalez before any kind of major confrontation occurred, but nope. Everything went down here. Coulson figured out Mac was up to something, Bobby got Fury's toolbox, and then Gonzalez and his S.H.I.E.L.D. agents all showed up and took the entire place over. Sure, it's likely the end of this Coulson... It's likely by the end of this, Coulson could be working with Gonzalez and thus be back in charge of these headquarters, but it's still striking to see all this go down as efficiently as it did, complete with the image of Coulson being taken away in handcuffs, and Gonzalez flat out telling him he wished he could return Coulson's compliment about wanting to be on his team, which was harsh and effective. We got to know the Inhuman Gordon here much more than before, as he paid a visit to Sky. Jamie Harris was very likable as we and Sky got to know Gordon's surprisingly laid-back, unassuming manner. Sky really aiming her powers for the first time, stopping that bullet and sending a shockwave back at Bobby and Calderon, or I should say Bobby and Asshole, was a very cool moment too. As was the emotional one where she then called Gordon to take her away moments later. It was pretty exciting to see May and Bobby face off, and their fight had some exciting moments, but then ended far too quickly. For now, May versus Agent 33 remains the one to beat when it comes to fight scenes on this show. As for flashbacks, I was impressed by how well they worked, including Isabel was a great touch and gave me the Battlestar reunion between Lucy Lawless and Edward James Olmos I only jokingly hoped for last week. It was also impressive how much weight there was to Bobby revealing she was going on a sacrifice mission, and Mac and Gonzalez insisting on joining her, considering we knew they at least were going to make it out alive. Still, this was a well-done look at another corner of S.H.I.E.L.D. during the events of The Winter Soldier. the fact that Gonzalez was actually a guy who had been following Fury's orders only to reassess everything as interest is an interesting addition to this character. As for the tag, it was fun. It was a fun beat to have Hunter rejoin Coulson like that, with everyone else captured and Sky off being inhuman. It definitely leaves a "what now" vibe for these two, even as Hunter endearingly let Coulson know he was officially part of the team. Eric gave this episode an 8.9. Great. Okay. Let's go ahead. If we have Ami.
Oh my god, man. Like, okay. Again, like I said before, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. Like, I understand their perspective. It's just like being on the inside, like Bobby and Mac, I don't like, yeah, they've seen him make some shady calls. You know, they were talking about secrets and how Fury's secrets is what they kind of blame for S.H.I.E.L.D.'s inability to stand up against this Hydra infiltration or to see it coming. To be fair, I've even brought it up multiple times as I'm sick and tired of Coulson and his damn secrets. Like every time they try to hold something back, it gets out and it causes further friction. And I feel like we just haven't learned that lesson just yet. And even with all these intimate players here, like if it's like Joe Schmo, whoever, no name S.H.I.E.L.D. guy who they recruited, who's never gets a speaking line, why tell that guy anything? But Sky, Fitz, Simmons, them, like...
A couple of things here. Yeah. I think, again, that's what I mentioned at the very beginning of the season when I said, I think Coulson's whole arc this season is to understand that he should not be going to be a replacement for Fury.
Mm-hmm.
I think on a huge level, he understands he can't be, but he still tries and adopts some of his strategies, right? Or some of his own techniques. Very clearly, what he shouldn't have had was have kept secrets from, at the very least, the closest people on his team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to keep secrets from Sky, Simmons, Fitz, but especially May.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you remember, but in a couple of episodes, it's going to be a bombshell. A couple of bombshells that are going to make May just feel shell-shocked. Like, how could Coulson do this and not tell me?
Mm-hmm.
In reality, really, there was no real good reason for Coulson to keep any of this from May. Especially because he had already entrusted so much with her. I mean, she was helping him through the carving on the walls and the whole backup plan in case he, goes the way of Garrett. Like, there's so much closeness between the two. In hindsight, it really is kind of dumb that Coulson didn't really, include that in literally all of it, which is why when we get to season 3, the dynamic has changed in that regard, where it's like, it's not just Coulson that has all of the know-how. Everyone is sharing in the knowledge, and it becomes more like, it's what season 3 of S.H.I.E.L.D. ends up being season 1 of S.H.I.E.L.D. in terms of the team dynamics they had, where they're all in the process together and they all kind of know everything together, at least as far as Coulson is handing out the information. With season 2, you can make the argument that because, they were rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. and, Hydra was, in a race between, for a whole bunch of a talent grab of people left and right. They're really at the beginning of this season, what helped build honestly, the first 10 episodes of season 2 are insanely good. And part of what, helped set the dynamic in place was Coulson's whole new persona. But I think through the emergence of this coup d'etat,
Mm-hmm.
a la the real S.H.I.E.L.D., the whole point of it was for Coulson to realize, yeah, but really, it went too far.
Mm-hmm.
As it perhaps went too far the first time, which is the point that these real S.H.I.E.L.D. people are bringing up. Is that how you see it, David?
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, what I've been loving about this whole second season is just the struggle of having to keep secrets from others for good reasons, just the idea of I have orders, please execute it. And it's just you kind of, please trust me that like it'll be good in the long run if you succeed in this mission. It's not, and you know, already they showed that like Coulson isn't like Fury, where you know with the flashbacks in this one, there were Fury's orders was destroy the ship. Like doesn't matter who's in the ship, you got to destroy it because it's very important and all that. And we know that if this was Coulson, he would say take it back, like as much as you can. And if you're, like, I'm sure he would probably given an order. It's like if you're like the last man standing, take it out, you know, something like that. But you know, that's what I've been liking about the second season. Like I said, it's that struggle of leadership that you have to keep secrets from people because you never know who's gonna like turn. You never know who's gonna get captured and you know reveal those secrets and all that. But you also have. It sucks that the other agents have to put complete faith into Coulson, which I'm sure that's like they keep showing that struggle with him. So
yeah,
it's
we're gonna see more of that.
Yeah, what was that episode called? Heavy is the head. Like that's really all it is, and it's a great show, man. Like I love it,
really
and I love this conversation.
Yeah.
I wish they would get a little bit more detail out of each other, like the conversation with Sky and Gordon.
Yes,
Gordon. Corson. I don't know why I said that. Gordon. I kind of wish she was a little bit more defensive with what they were doing. It's just like, I mean, dude, I don't know. You know what they say. It's like, well, when I turned, I got embraced. What did they do? And all that, and you're kind of like, I kind of wish she was kind of like, well, I mean, I don't know what that gas did, dude. Like, of course I'm gonna be contained. I don't mind it, you know. And then when he's like, oh, there's something holding you back. It's like, well, dude, my bones are broken. Like, I kind of need to heal.
You're saying that in the sequence, you wish that she would verbalize it more,
Mhm.
but I feel like that is kind of the internal struggle she's going through, right? Because I think she knows in her head, she knows that her friends are they're coming from a good place, and that they legitimately wish her the best, and that they're trying to help her. She knows that in her head, but sometimes what you feel or think in here is not how it translates down here, right? And you can say, she can rationalize that, oh, her friends are sincerely trying to help her, but at the same time, most of their moves have alienated her. And sure, she volunteered, like, she understands being, separated. She understands, the danger that she could impose on others. But like, at the same time, she currently does not see a way forward. So much so that she's literally been sent away. Which, she had that talk with Coulson. She gets why he did that. It doesn't mean she feels good about it. She's kind of left all alone. And when you're in that kind of environment, you're kind of like, well, but I agree with what you're saying, though. It's like, you're saying it's like, like she should maybe have put that up there. But I think the fact that she didn't say that leads us to think that she's feeling kind of abandoned. She is feeling kind of pushed away, which also kind of when you're feeling that way, and then this person who, yes, is a complete stranger, but apparently claims to represent being a part of who she now is. And then also it's how he presents himself. Like, he actually is like the first person that comes into contact with her that actually, paints a picture of what her future would be. Everybody else is just like, I don't know. I can't make this decision for you, Coulson, last week. But then Gordon comes along and says, I'm here to help you. What was the line that I said? To be who you were always meant to be. If anybody comes walking through your door and tells you these things, come on. all anybody in this life ever wants is to be told encouraging words like that, especially because he can walk the walk. Like I told you, he has the authority to say those things because he is inhuman and he has gone through what she is going through. So she's feeling so many things, is what I'm saying.
No, I was gonna say, it's like with Gordon, like he knows he's got such confidence within himself. Like he knows he's badass. So I think that really helps and all that. At least for her being convincing, but also convincing us too. It's like you kind of know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
For sure. But I wanted to, yeah, we can go back to Ami, and then if I need to pause, I'll let you know.
Keeping secrets from those people still feels really icky to me, even like when it's Sky. And I know like part of that is because he doesn't want her to be aware that he's thinking these negative thoughts about her. I get it, but like sugarcoating it all at the same time isn't going to help either. There's that one moment back at the cabin when she found the lacing on the walls, when she peeled back the paneling, finding that big old Hulk-sized fist. And there, anybody in that moment could have been like, well, shit, they think I'm a freak in a cage. Well, I mean, obviously that tells her they do in fact think she's dangerous. I feel like they know that at this point as well, or that she does also. But she was just like, holy shit. She's like, that's kind of cool. Like all this was kind of doing was, I don't know, giving her a little bit more of a perspective and confidence on who she is. And then she had this lovely little visitor coming in and approaching it very much so like Fitz was, open-minded, obviously because he's one of them. Like he's gone through all of this, though he's had a completely different approach, the one that appreciates the differences and encourages the differences and is afraid of the differences. And it's like what I talked about with Simmons. She's treating it like it's a disease when it is just who she is, creating the whole like camp parallel that I made before. And then we get this whole backstory about the day that S.H.I.E.L.D. fell and just kind of shows how Bobby and Mac and them kind of ended up on the side that they ended up on. And I get it. From their perspective and from anybody else's perspective who's not on the in, it can look like chaos. It can look like Coulson isn't to be trusted, especially when your trust has already been fractured in a major way like it was with them with the Hydra infiltration. I get it. I don't know. It just feels so scummy all at the same time. Everybody's trying to do what's best for S.H.I.E.L.D., but they've got a different way to go about it. And they even like have taken themselves and risen themselves above Fury, even like calling out into question his secrets, like him housing and storing these secret weapons and these powered people, and going above the Shadow Council and all of that. He's always been kind of playing his own game and kind of treating S.H.I.E.L.D. as his own personal organization, while they see it as something greater than that. But I think that's the thing. I think Fury, despite everything, has always got his eye on the right thing at the end of the day. Sure, so there's some questionable decisions to be made, and I don't always agree with every one of them. That's the objective, is protecting this place at all costs and keeping these things out of other people's hands. Because again, regardless of their perspective on Coulson, had Coulson not done what he did and them continuing to follow the priorities they currently have, Whitehall would still be alive and he would have all of these things. They had no involvement at all or interest at all in stopping that from happening. All it does is further accentuate their hubris to me, as well as wondering what the hell is in this ship that Fury wanted to detonate the fuck out of it, not let anybody have it, but now they've chosen to ignore that order and take it for themselves. And it's that own thing right there that makes them hypocritical, because they're calling out Coulson for basically doing the exact same thing. They just don't like it themselves. It's so scummy, but that's the government for you. And then in all this whole, Sky's an agent, don't worry, she's not dangerous, she's not one of the bad ones. Not one of the bad ones, you've heard that rhetoric, right? Like the parallels are, and the themes here are not subtle at all. If you're listening, you have everybody else who's trying to cooperate, but then you have good old fucking Ricardo Diaz in here. I don't know his name in this, so fucking Dragon here is going in there. Icers only, and he's out here running around without one. He was going to kill Sky. Like there was no take her in, hear her out, figure out the situation after the fact. He was just going to take her out. And Simmons is just kind of on not that extreme, but not that far off with this suppression and this othering that's been going on, though, she came up clutch in this episode. I'll give her that. And even warming in that conversation they had over the video phone, even with Fitz, everything, them trying to work things out, a little bit of them just kind of, showing where they stand, which is still seemingly with Coulson, but right now, everything we are hearing is similar rhetoric to what, Simmons has been spouting since Sky's revelation. So I'm worried that because we have these two warring S.H.I.E.L.D. factions, it's going to split the gang even further. I'm so nervous about the second half of this. But Sky's, screamed for help. Nightcrawler came in, Gordon got her, and is taking her back to the compound. I'll know it when I see it. But I know that I feel like we're probably not that far away from where I stopped watching. And once we see that, we can officially start calling this first time watch, because I am hesitant to put that on there, because even as much as I don't remember any of this, like none of this even rings a bell at all. None of it. None of the S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. The only things I remembered from season 1 and season 2, like I mentioned before, the Ward thing, who Sky is, and her in a village. How is that all I remember? I have no idea. Don't ask me. My brain do weird thing. But that all said,
we can stop here. David, do you know what is the cargo they have on the ship?
Don't know.
No?
No.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you do. Do you want me to tell you? Do you want to just figure it out?
Tell me.
You sure?
Yeah.
Because they actually show you in a couple episodes what it is.
Just tell me. Screw it.
The monolith.
Oh, okay.
The monolith that sends Gemma to Maveth in
okay.
season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that even here they put in the seeds that Fury knew that Hydra would be after it.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, 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 ding. Which is
also
interlinked with the whole Inhuman thing and Hive, and so I like Easter eggs like that. I mean, maybe that's not even the right way of saying Easter egg, which is like, I guess, a little bit of like a hint at what's to come here.
Yeah.
Okay, Oliver Sava. This is what he says in AV Club. Whoa. Now this is the show I dreamed of when Marvel first announced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in 2012. In the first 10 minutes of One Door Closes, Mockingbird kicks open a door in a slow motion and guns down a room full of Hydra agents without a wasted bullet. In the last 10 minutes, Quake unleashes a shockwave that turns trees into splinters, and is rescued by a teleporting Inhuman. It's a lot of fun to see these characters I love from the comics be totally badass in live action, but it's even better when it happens in a captivating story. One Door Closes is a high point for this series, delivering tense spy intrigue, thrilling action, and a spectacular display of Inhuman power that raises the stakes not just for the series, but the entire MCU. Sky was compared to the Hulk in last week's episode, and we see just how apt the comparison is when she unleashes her power tonight, deflecting the bullet speeding toward her, but devastating her immediate surroundings in the process. She is the future of the MCU, and if beings like Sky are also to become a lot more prevalent, S.H.I.E.L.D. has good reason to be worried. Phase 2... Okay, this is just MCU speculation. Okay, let's move on, because that goes nowhere. Sky takes some big steps forward toward understanding her Inhuman heritage in this week's episode, which sees Gordon arriving at her home, at her safe house, to offer her sanctuary when she inevitably needs it in the future. The very near future, as it turns out. Jamie Harris does great work at making Gordon a charismatic figure, and he has a friendly, cool demeanor that makes him the perfect ambassador for frightened new Inhumans. He gives a confident performance that immediately defines Gordon's character, and his strong chemistry with Chloe Bennett has me anxious to see more interactions between the two now that Sky is his house guest. Last week, I commented on the lack of a strong motivation for Bobby to side with Gonzalez's faction of S.H.I.E.L.D., but my concerns are quelled by this week's flashbacks to the day S.H.I.E.L.D. fell. Why did Bobby join Gonzalez? Because they lived through the fall together, and he listened to her when she decided to disobey an order from Nick Fury that would have meant the loss of good men and women. After saving an injured Gonzalez with the help of Mac and Isabel Hartley, Bobby is supposed to destroy the server core of the Shield battleship Iliad, which will sink the ship, its dangerous cargo, and any lives on board. But rather than listen to the wishes of a dead man, Bobby decides to abandon the mission and fight with her allies to take back the vessel. Adrienne Palicki was upgraded to a regular cast member after the hiatus, and one door closes is when Bobby really starts taking a more significant role in the series. The flashbacks show her prowess as a secret agent, delve into her relationships with Mac, Hartley, and Gonzalez, and highlight her dedication to doing what is right, even when it means disobeying direct orders. All of which inform her actions in the present as she steals Fury's toolbox and helps the real S.H.I.E.L.D. take down Coulson's team. Bobby genuinely cares for people on both sides of S.H.I.E.L.D., but she's also seen the dangers of Coulson's crusade and isn't willing to have any more of her friends die as he chases power. She's already dedicated to Gonzalez's cause, but seeing the damage caused by Sky's power tells Bobby that she's fighting for the right side. And how she fights? In addition to the aforementioned shootout, Bobby also has an intense fight with Agent May that begins with a backflip through a glass wall and ends with two women fighting over a small cube that is Nick Fury's database. In general, it's a great week for women kicking butt on S.H.I.E.L.D. Lucy Lawless gets to show off her action skills as Isabel Hartley after having her talents wasted earlier in the season, and Sky gets her hands dirty when she faces off against a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent before unleashing her shockwave on Bobby and Agent Calderon. Agent Asshole. This series has also been steadily building steam since the start of Season 2, and a major reason for that is because the status quo is constantly changing. The introduction of the Inhuman elements marked a major shift, and tonight's episode marks another one, as Gonzalez makes his move against Coulson and puts an end to his operation. By the end of the episode, a number of new storytelling doors have been opened, giving the season a huge burst of momentum as it races to the finale. Fitz, Simmons, and May are currently in Gonzalez's custody. Coulson and Lance are planning their retaliation from a topical... I'm sorry, I can't speak anymore. From a tropical island, I'm literally out of breath. And Sky is about to get a lesson in inhumanity thanks to Gordon. The situation just gets more dire for his team every week, but if it means the quality will stay this high, I have no problem with Coulson and his crew getting dragged through hell for my enjoyment. Well, some people who would call that also just sharing in the trauma of what these characters experience. Stray observations. Sky's power suppressing gloves are much more stylish than the clunky gauntlets she has to wear in the comics. Hydra unleashed and enhanced on the S.H.I.E.L.D. Academy. I wonder if this plot point will come back. It doesn't. The prosthetic covering Jamie Harris's eye could be a lot better.
I think it
looked great.
I think it's great. Yeah, I don't know. What? Also, though, like, okay, how is someone supposed to look that? Please tell me. I don't know. I can't even imagine it.
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want, Oliver, but I don't know. To me, it looked pretty fucking great. Like it's one of the. I'm sorry, it looked great.
Yeah.
Fury's toolbox looks a lot like a Bluetooth speaker.
No, it doesn't. Far from it.
Okay. Yes, I used to have eyes. They were blue. That's one of the lines that Gordon says.
Yeah.
I love your whole thing. You know that? Bobby says to Isabel. I didn't ask for that, but I've come to appreciate the gesture. Coulson defending Fury, bringing him back from the dead. That's a really nice entrance. We know that one. When Coulson gets broken out by May, and then of course at the end, that's a lot of umbrellas for one drink. And then the bartender just shoots back. Let me guess, she got the house. How do you know? God damn. That was... Yeah. That... Anything else to cover about this episode that we may have missed? I think we did most of it, I think, right?
No, yeah, I gave up my compliments during the episode. Like I said, I love the flashback. I mean, they really convinced. I know first time watching, I was so convinced, like, damn, these people are a team right here. Like, they fucking, sacrificed everything. They were willing to go down and all that. It was badass, especially when, they're all lined up and shooting the Hydra agents. Like, that shit was badass. Everything Bobby and Mac trying to get I don't know, were they trying to get out of the base, or were they just trying to distract them not long enough for the other agents to come in or something?
Both? I think they were legitimately trying to get away.
Yeah.
And they just weren't, they failed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. True.
But they already called for backup. They knew backup was on the way. Otherwise, they wouldn't have attempted, let's do this now.
Mm-hmm. True. I mean, who knows exactly what the plan was. But either way, I think, it was probably just trying to get away if they could. But if not, then they just take the place. But yeah, I think I said everything.
All right, then. Well, thank you all of you guys for watching and tuning in. I want to, again, apologize for the long absence there. That really was beyond our control. But we're going to try and come back on here and give you many, many more episodes as long as we possibly can. Stay tuned until next time, and we'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.